everybody. We're going to start working on some inequalities today. We did this earlier in the year. I think you'll find it's pretty familiar. I'm going to ask you to write these notes down with me if you would, please. So, solving inequalities. Here's our first inequality symbol. And remember that less than symbol kind of looks like a capital L in the word less. So less than. Here we have less than or equal to. Remember that line underneath means or equal to. The greater than symbol to me looks like it's part of a capital G. So we've got greater than, and then we have greater than or equal to. And again, that line underneath means that the value could be equal to. And with one exception, inequalities are solved just like equations. So take a moment, pause the video, and make sure that you're caught up with me on this. Then we'll move on to solving some. So here we go. So these are the sample problems that you are doing with me. So you're copying this problem down, and you're going to do everything on your paper that I'm doing on mine. So let's start by drawing the line straight down. I'm subtracting 7 from both sides, and I'm left with x is less than 3. So what does that mean? That means if I take any value less than 3, that it will make this sentence right here true. So what's a number that's less than 3? 2. So let's try the value of 2 in for x. So if I take 2 and I add it to 7, is that less than 10? Yeah, of course 9 is less than 10. And that's one way we can understand that that value is correct. Let's look over here at number 2. And all of these are examples of the ones that we solved just like equalities. So I'm kind of zipping through these. All right, m minus 11 is greater than or equal to 1. I'm adding 11 to both sides. M is greater than or equal to 12. So that means 12 could make this statement true, 13 could make this true, 20 could make this true. Let's try 20. So if I take a value that's greater than or equal to 12, such as 20. So I'm going to take 20, I'm subtracting 11. Is that greater than or equal to 1? Yeah, of course. 9 is greater than or equal to 1 because it's greater than 1. So that helps us see that that value of 12 is correct. Here are 2 more that are very similar. So let's draw our line straight down. Because that is 4 times k, I'll divide both sides by 4 to undo. Those cancel. K is less than or equal to 4. And we could check values for this one just like we did for these. All right, last one. So since this is h divided by 5, I'm multiplying both sides by 5. Those will cancel. H is greater than 30. So here are the ones where we have the exceptions. And I will tell you that this is the 4th time I've attempted to make this video. Let's see if I can get it right this time. So if you will notice, see there's a negative sign in each of these. When we solve, we will need to either multiply or divide by a negative number. And that is the case in which we need to change the direction of the inequality symbol. So we're always going to start out the same way. So I draw my line straight down. I'm going to divide both sides by -2. Those cancel. And x. I'm going to go ahead and change this now and then show you that it is correct. So I'm going to change that. I've got 10 divided by -2, which is -5. So let's choose a number that's less than -5, say -6. So I'm going to take -6 and put it in for that x. So I would say -2 times -6 is greater than 10. A negative times a negative is a positive. And a positive 12 is greater than 10. if I hadn't switched that, it would have come up with 12 is less than 10, and we know that's not true. So when I divide, or here when I multiply by a negative number, you have to just flip the direction of that inequality symbol. All right, here we go. Now, one thing that you might want to consider is that when you see you're going to be multiplying or dividing by a negative, that you take the symbol and you already copy it down at the bottom so that you don't have to worry about it anymore. So I am multiplying both sides by -5, and I'll be left with C is greater than or equal to -35. So let's choose a number that's greater than or less than 35, or excuse me, greater than or equal to -35. Like say 0. So where did I get 0? I can just choose any number that's greater than -35, kids. It doesn't matter which one I choose. So if I choose 0, I'm going to put my 0 over -5. Is that greater than or equal to 7? No, it is not. Where did I make my mistake? Oh, because I needed to go back to the original. I'm sorry. We're looking at right here. So -35 over -5 is certainly less than or equal to 7. Or we could do it with 0. 0 over -5 is certainly less than or equal to 7. I thought there for a second I was going to have to start this video for a 5th time. I'm glad I do not. All right, let's look at number 7 here. So this is a 2-step inequality, and we begin just like we would for an equation. So I drew my line down. I'm subtracting both sides by -4. I'm left with -3k, -11, careful with your integers here, -4 is -15. Now, since I am dividing both sides by a negative, I am left with k is greater than. Negative divided by a negative is a positive. That one was tricky. Let's look at number 8 now. So I'm going to start by subtracting 1 from both sides. Those cancel. I've got -d over 7 is greater than or equal to -1. Now, this is really, I'm going to have to multiply both sides by -7 to get rid of the negative symbol. So since I am multiplying by a negative, I need to change the direction of the symbol, and d is less than or equal to a +7. So the exception is if I divide an inequality, you're writing this with me, if I divide or multiply by a negative number, I change the direction of the inequality symbol. There we go. Okay, phew. Didn't have to do it a 5th time. Okay, so there are your samples. Everything on these first 2 pages, all of this, if you didn't get it down before, and all of that need to be on your paper. Then I am asking you to do 4 independent problems. If you'll notice, I've highlighted where you're going to need to deal with multiplying or dividing by a negative number. And on this one, if you start in by boxing in the subtraction, you're not going to struggle with understanding that this negative sign really goes with the e over 5. So give those a try. Let me know if you have any questions, and I sure hope I see you soon. Bye, kids.